Hello everybody and welcome to another book wrap up and TBR with the TBR jar. Now if you didn't know, last month I created a TBR jar and from that TBR jar I picked 23, I want to say, books out of it because I was really behind on my Goodreads goal and my goal for the year, which is 200 books. I was a little bit behind because in May I only read 2 books, which is fine because I was busy, but we needed to get that grind up, and that we did. Reread 15 books this month, which I am so happy with because I picked these 23 books out of the TBR jar, plus I had my own personal TBR. How many physical books did you think I read? 2 physical books. The rest of them were Kindle. I read 13 books on Kindle, which is fine.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Because at least I was reading something, but this month it's definitely one of my goals to get more through my physical TBR rather than my Kindle. So, to begin, the first book that I read was Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. This is a part of the Gold Rush Ranch series, which is the series before this Chestnut Spring series that she wrote. And I love the Chestnut Spring series. Like, it is a 5-star series for me. I love everything about it, the small town and everything. And if you love that series, I think you will love the Gold Rush Ranch series as well. I gave this book a 4.5 stars. I loved it. She does not miss. Miss Elsie Silver, what do you put in these books? Because she does not miss. I love this book. It had me giggling, kicking my feet, all the things. And the third up breakup that's inevitably in every book wasn't dragged out, which, amazing, loved it. And to tell you a little bit about this book, so it is set in the small town, and basically this first book is about Billy. And Billy is this female horse trainer, so it's set on a ranch, and she's the new trainer at this Gold Rush Ranch, and Vaughn Harding is her new boss, and they just have a little bit of chemistry, and that's all I will say. Loved it though. It was such a good book. It made me so excited to continue reading the rest of that series as well. So I must have been in a romance mood because when I read this next book, which is the only book that I read off of the TBR jar, which is The Catch by Amy Leah, and you know, this book slapped. It was good. It cured something in me, and I don't know why. It just did, because I gave this a 4.5 stars as well. I loved the coastal town vibes, and the tropes that are in this book are like one of my favorites. So basically this is book 3 in the Influencer series by Amy Leah. The first one's Set on You, the second one is X's and O's, and this one is The Catch. And it's basically about these 3 different influencers, and we follow each one of them. And this one is about Melanie, who's a fashion influencer, and she gets invited to go to this interior design place but ends up missing, or she like scheduled it too early, or she went early and there was nothing available. Not quite sure, don't quite remember. But she finds herself in this rural fishing village, and she meets fisherman Evan. She goes out on this boat with him, and something happens, and then they have to do something else, and then it's so good. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's such a good book. I highly recommend reading it. So then the next books that I read was the next 3 books in the Gold Rush Ranch series, because that first book was just addicting. I was just so excited. So the second book was called A Photo Finish, and I gave that one a 4.25 stars. And this one follows another one of the girls in the series. You know, they all just follow each other, all interconnected. I just couldn't believe how good it was after the first one. I think the first one is definitely my favorite. I'm not gonna say what they're about just because I don't want to spoil it. I love the main girl character because it's Violet, who is the younger sister of the Chestnut Spring series brothers. So especially like after reading that series and now coming to this one, it's just like the only thing that I didn't really enjoy about it, however, was the way that Violet spoke to the main guy character at the end. Like, I knew it was a part of a character, but it just didn't rub me in the right way. So that's why it's not like a 4.5, but I did really love this book. Then it's The Front Runner, and Stefan. That's all. I love the banter in this book. It was so good, and how he took care of the main girl and how she stood up for him. Amazing. Loved it. 4 stars. And then the final book, which is called A False Start, I gave it 3.5 stars. And I don't know, it was still good. Don't get me wrong. But it is an age gap romance. And some age gap romances are good. They're fine. Don't really care. But I think some authors have the tendency to mention every single chapter that there is an age gap. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. 3.5 stars. Oh, so after that little romance stint, I was like, Chloe, you need to read more of your physical TBR. So that I did, and I read Insurgent, which was on my I didn't pull it out of the jar, but it was on my radar to read for that month. And I gave this a 3.5 stars. I don't think I am enjoying this series as much as I enjoyed the Hunger Games series. This one was better than the first book, and the ending of this book, crazy. If you don't know what this series is about, it's a part of the Divergent series, which I'm pretty sure everyone knows, and apparently I'm the last person on earth to read that. It's pretty much, they've got factions, and it's very much everyone has a role to play, and then it's all about the corruption of the system and all that fun stuff. But yeah, 3.5 stars. And then I kind of still wasn't in like a big romance mood, and I kind of wanted to go back to a series that I felt familiar with. So then on Kindle Unlimited, I read The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, which is the second book to The Serpent and the Wings of the Night. And I actually bought the hardcover copy because it was that big W. But I did read this on my Kindle. And I gave this book a 4.5 stars. I loved it. I love the duology. The first book I gave a 5 stars, and I just love jumping back into it. It is a little bit more politics heavy, which is why I think I didn't enjoy it more, because I love a good romantasy. Love it. And I love it when the romance is more of a forefront. Highly recommend reading them though, because they are so good, and I kind of want to read Carissa Broadbent's backlog. And then I read the rest of these books on Kindle Unlimited, and if you couldn't tell by the theme of these books, I was in a hockey romance mood, a really big hockey romance mood. So the first book I read was Weak Side by S.J. Silvers. Gave this book a 3 star. It was okay. I mean, I could have sworn that I read this on Wattpad back in the day, and it's just now a Kindle Unlimited book. Don't know if it was the same plot or anything, but I could have sworn I read it before. Hi, so I just realised I did not explain what that book was about, so I'll quickly explain it to you now. Basically, this girl starts a freshman year of college, and she gets put into the boys' dormitory instead of the girls' one, and she has to room with the captain of the hockey team. And that's just kind of the gist of the book. But it was still good. Then I read Sin Bin, which is by Anastasia White, and I honestly have no memory of this book. I gave it a 3 stars. It felt like a fever dream. I don't actually remember much. But you know, we love a good hockey romance. I think at this point I was trying to get out of my slump, so I just wanted to keep reading hockey romances. So then I read the Hawkeye's Hockey series, which is by Kenna King, and I think that's predicted to be about 9 books, which is crazy, but only 5 of them were out. So the first book was Cocky Score, and I gave it a 4 stars. It was just what I needed at that time. It was a nice slow burn, sweet gestures, amazing. Great start to the series. Then the next book is Filthy Score, which I rated 3.5 stars, and I loved the man in this book, Lake Powers, the man that you are. The sweet gestures, the banter, loved it. The next book is Brutal Score, and I gave that one a 3.75. It's a little nanny romance. She nannies the kid, and then it kind of evolves from there. I didn't really like the ending though. It was very anticlimactic when it should have been a little more dramatic. Then the next one is Rough Score, and I gave this one a 3.25. I think it's my least favorite of the series, and it's mainly because I didn't like the conflict and the miscommunication, because it was very heavy. It was still a good book, but at that point I just wanted to read the whole series because I was invested in all the characters and everything. And then the final book that's out is Dirty Score, and I gave that one a 4 stars, and it was a little enemies to lovers situation. It was good. It was good. And then we're on to the final book that I read this month, which is Burnout by Rebecca Genshaw, and I gave it a 3 stars. You know, it was a good palette cleanser. I think I got sick of hockey romances near the end of it, which I never thought I'd hear myself say, but you know, when you read 10 in the month, that kind of makes sense. It's about a dirt bike rider and a gymnast. Something different, and yeah, 3 stars. So that was all of the books that I have read in June, and now we're going to pick out my TBR for this month. Now, because I picked out so many books last month, I think that really impacted and made me stressed about what I'm reading. So I did put back some of the books I had already picked out because I saved the pages. And yeah, I'm gonna mix it up and pick the books. The first book we are reading is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson, which is the 3rd book in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. How many should we do? I feel like we shouldn't do too many this month because, you know, obviously, oh, that one just fell out. So it's The Wedding Crasher by, I think it's by Abigail Mann. Could be wrong, but that's The Wedding Crasher. What's this one? We have Circe by Madeline Miller. We have Maybe Meant to Be. I don't know who this is by, but we'll obviously grab it after. And we'll do 3 more. Okay. Oh. We have The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is the prequel to The Hunger Games, which is fun. And look at that. We have Abby Jimenez Part 2, which is the 2nd trilogy of her books. And we have Abby Jimenez Part 1. So let's go get these books out. So here is my TBR for the month of July. Do I want to add to it? We're going to add these books to it. So the first book we pulled out is As Good as Dead, which is the 3rd book in the Holly Jackson series of Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I did start this book, but obviously I'm gonna have to restart it. And I think my friend is currently reading the 2nd book, so maybe we'll do a little buddy read of this one, which could be kind of fun. It is a mystery book and it's YA, I believe. I think I'll be so satisfied once I finish this book because I think I have been trying to read this book since last year. So it'll be nice to have that off my physical TBR finally. Then we have The Wedding Crasher by Abigail Mann. I picked this book up because it was cheap because it's got like a little Sharpie mark, which I didn't care. And the concept was nice and kind of fun. So it's about Poppy and her best friend has a high profile wedding that she needs help with. And Poppy is a photographer, so she goes and helps, and she recognizes the groom as an old friend. So I feel like that could be kind of fun. I'm guessing from the vibes that it's a getaway. Then we have Circe by Madeline Miller. This is a Greek mythology book, I believe. She also wrote The Song of Achilles and I did not really like that book. So, you know, we'll give this one a try and hopefully we like it. Then we have Maybe Meant to Be by K.L. Wolfer, which is this one here. I'm not sure if this is a part of like a series. Maybe I should check that. I don't think it is. It's about 2 cancer-stricken teens finding love. This is gonna be sad. Okay. Okay. Then we have The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is the prequel to The Hunger Games. I have seen the movie, but I've heard the book is very different. And you can kind of read Snow's inner monologue, which I'm kind of excited for. Then we have Abby Jimenez Part 1 and 2. I don't have the last book in his series, which is just for the summer, but we have The Friend Zone, The Happy Ever After playlist, Life's Too Short, Part of Your World, and Yours Truly, and then Just for the Summer. So I will need to buy that book at some point once I finish them all. And then what I have added to this is Allegiant, because I want to finish Divergent this month. I want to finish that series because I am filming a first time reads video for it. So I'd love to finish it this month. And then in a similar theme of finishing books this month, I want to finish Throne of Glass. It's my goal this year to finish Throne of Glass, and I want to finish it. So we have Empire of Storm, Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash. I think that is all for this video though. I hope you enjoyed listening to me explain books not very well. But if you did, thanks for watching, and I guess I will see you in my next video. Hopefully I can read more books off my physical TBR. Bye.